Guys, Senator Ndume has sent a powerful message to Tinubu after Tinubu visited Turkey and also signed another deal with Saudi Arabia. Senator Ndume said this. Take a look. It says, "We must not miss this opportunity." Senator Ndume says Nigeria must seize U.S. support to crush terrorists. Ndume is boldly telling Tinubu that, see, even though you've gone to sign security deals with Turkey, Saudi Arabia, don't ignore Trump. Trump said he wants to help Nigeria. Don't just ignore him. Gumi told Tinubu to go to Turkey, and he went. But Senator Ndume is saying that we should invite Trump. This is the person who has the boldness to dare the terrorists. If we want to see these terrorists crushed, Ndume is telling Tinubu that he should not ignore Trump. He should get Trump's support to crush his terrorists. Now, let me even shock you with some of these headlines as regards to the worsening security situation in Nigeria. This one here says, gunmen attack Ebonyi community, behead several, kidnap.
Welcome to Naija Voice TV. This is a platform where we give voice to the unheard. I want you to vet this video properly, so sit down, let me fill you in and bring you up to speed. The insecurity in Nigeria has called for global attention. Even the G7 and the world power have now paid attention to the genocide and the killing of Christians in Nigeria. But this insurgency have lasted and lingered for so many years, since 2014, if I can recall vividly well. Yet, the government and its agency have not been able to stop it. Human life, properties have been lost. People have been displaced in their home, in their villages. And now, the President of America, Donald Trump, has come to our aid to assist us to locate terrorist camp and destroy their hideout. Now, Sheikh Gumi, Islamic cleric, is advising the President Tinubu, to seek help from Turkey and Palestine. But the truth of the matter is that both Turkey and Palestine are Islamic countries. How will they assist us to destroy this terrorism which are trying to Islamize Nigeria? Well, I want you to watch the full video. Drop your thoughts on the comment section. Our own is to react on trending issues. Our own is to escalate the debate. Our own is to give voice to the unheard. Report news in Nigeria, in Africa, and the world beyond for the general populace to know what is going on in Nigeria. A lot of mainstream media will not want to report this because they've been corrupt by corrupt politicians. The truth of the matter is that we are not trying to bring any government down. Neither are we trying to promote violence, but we are trying to report the atrocity, insurgency in Nigeria. Watch the full video. Drop your thoughts on the comment section. A northern senator, Senator Ndume, has told Nigerians and the world that he is accepting Donald Trump and his armies to come to Nigeria and assist us against insecurity. But yet, the president is looking for help in Islamic countries like Turkey and Saudi Arabia. Are they ready to stop this insurgency? That is the question that Nigerians are asking, because this insurgency have lingered for so many years. Watch the full video, how various political analysis analyze the implication of seeking help from Turkey and Saudi Arabia, Islamic countries. Watch the full video, how Senator Ndume asks for the help of Donald Trump. I want you to drop your thoughts on the comment section. Everything said on this video has nothing to do with the management of Naija Voice TV, but their own personal opinion and political analysis. Our own is to react on trending issues. Watch the full video, drop your thoughts on the comment section. Let us engage.
Welcome to Naija Voice Television, where we give voice to the unheard.
Guys, Senator Ndume has sent a powerful message to Tinubu after Tinubu visited Turkey and also signed another deal with Saudi Arabia. Senator Ndume said this. Take a look. It says, we must not miss this opportunity. Senator Ndume says Nigeria must seize U.S. support to crush terrorists. Ndume is boldly telling Tinubu that, see, even though you've gone to sign security deals with Turkey, Saudi Arabia, don't ignore Trump. Trump said he wants to help Nigeria. Don't just ignore him. Gumi told Tinubu to go to Turkey, and he went. But Senator Ndume is saying that we should invite Trump. This is the person who has the boldness to dare the terrorists. If we want to see these terrorists crushed, Ndume is telling Tinubu that he should not ignore Trump. He should get Trump support to crush his terrorists. Now, let me even shock you with some of these headlines as regards to the worsening security situation in Nigeria. This one here says, gunmen attack Ebonyi community, behead several, kidnap many, burn homes. This happened just yesterday. Ebonyi State has burned on fire. I mean, they literally set homes ablaze. Those things you used to hear that happened in Zamfara, in Borno State, it happened in Ebonyi State. So guys, this is what we are saying, and you can see this other headline here also captured it saying, insecurity worsens as terrorists behead 5 persons, bite and abduct dozens in Ebonyi State, in Igbo land, in the southeast. The insecurity is engulfing everywhere. Now, let me show you this other shocking headline again. It says, ISWAP releases a video of the attack against Sabongeri Nigerian military camp in Borno State. The first part of the video, which I trimmed off, showed graphic footage of dead Joint Task Force militiamen. These terror guys reported that the army had abandoned this camp months ago following ISWAP attack. And now the troops returned recently. Guess what? ISWAP now went again and attacked them. And you can see the video they are displaying on how fire is ravaging the vehicles, the armories, what belongs to the Nigerian military. This is what Ndume is saying, that Nigeria shouldn't miss the opportunity of bringing Trump to crush the terrorists, because Trump is not always going to be in the White House. Who knows who is going to take over from Trump? The person may not even have time for Nigeria. And Ndume is the one boldly telling Tinubu, even though Gumi is telling you to go to Turkey and go to Saudi Arabia and go to Pakistan, you better allow Trump to come and destroy these terror guys, because the level of attacks happening in Nigeria now is unbelievable. This country is almost falling like what we have in Afghanistan. Can you imagine attacks everywhere, as if we don't have a government? Now, let me shock you again with this headline. It says, bandits refuse to release 9 Kaduna villagers after 30 million ransom payment, demand fresh 20 million naira motorbikes. This is what they want. Their new style now is, after asking for money, they also ask for motorcycles. The 166 persons they kidnapped last 2 Sundays, they are demanding for 230 million naira and 20 motorcycles. Now they are also demanding here for extra 20 million naira after 30 million was paid, with motorbikes too. So guys, you can see the terror guys here. See them displaying their ill-gotten wealth, the money they didn't sweat for. That's why they bring it to the social media to display, and nobody is saying anything, as if we don't have a government. So guys, how long are the Nigerian people going to endure the level of criminality happening in this country? Now, see this headline. It says, bandits sighted in one of the forests in the northwest fleeing their camps due to fear of being hit by American airstrike. What is most amazing is the fact that these bandits have wives and children grown into a big community, which they push to expand their camps before Donald Trump hit them. Do we really have a government? That's the question Nigerians should be asking. Look at Tinubu being pushed around. This man is old and weak, for God's sake. Old age is also a blessing. Can Tinubu just go and rest and allow somebody who has the strength? See all the buying of people. Tinubu is so silent. He can't even come out to address the nation. He can't even come out to give marching order to the security chiefs. So guys, these are the situation in the country. Now, this other headline here says, terrorists led by notorious kingpin Jambruz. This is another terrorist leader. It's no more Bello Tuji or the other ones. This one is Jambruz abduct 20 in Zamfara community. Can you imagine? Right there in the southwest, there is a clash between 2 terrorist groups. 2 of them are clashing. So this group will go and kidnap the people of this group. That is what is happening, because they have that free hand. Nobody is confronting them. Nobody. But when they had the unknown gunmen in the southeast, they descended on the southeast and almost crushed all the youths in Imo State. In the name of, they were looking for unknown gunmen. Many innocent victims were cut up by military men. And recently, Amnesty International have been demanding for a probe of the killings that happened in the southeast. The Tinubu's government doesn't want that file to be opened. See how terrorists are openly carrying out their criminality unchallenged in this country. Now, so guys, I don't know what you make of this. Now, this guy said, Nigerians, go and look for ammunition and protect yourself. Consisted with earlier report. Today, Boko Haram bites several people in Borno who were trying to repair a bridge that was previously bombed by terrorists. At least 20 have been killed, including soldiers. Oh God. Including soldiers. So guys, this country is almost falling into the hands of terrorists. So guys, for the fact that it's happening in far north, you have seen the one that happened in Ebonyi State. We all must stand up so that our country does not look like Afghanistan. You know, Afghanistan has been taken over by Taliban. Now they've restricted women from going to school. I don't know if you've seen that headline, that Afghanistan just banned women from going to school. So you can't be a doctor, you can't be a lawyer, and if you are sick, even if you have toothache or you have eye ache, you won't see a male doctor. Can you imagine that kind of life? That is what Nigeria is about to turn into. And our northern brothers and sisters who are educated are in support of Sharia law. In Afghanistan, they've passed, as in collecting taxes from people now is legal. You know, this tax that they collect as if you are a slave to them is now legal, backed by law. If you don't convert, they have to collect taxes from you. So guys, we don't pray this country falls for such, and that is why you and I must stand up and say enough is enough. For those sponsors supporting Tinubu with all this colossal failure, I pray you don't fall a victim of all this, because all these people that are being fight, they are somebody's mother, father, brother, sister, relative, or whatever. Don't pray you to become any of those. But we must sit up and say no, enough of all this. Now, Gumi was spotted in a video saying the Fulanis are going nowhere, that they've come to stay. We must accommodate them. So he's indirectly telling us that he knows that the Fulanis are not Nigerians, but we don't have any option. We must accommodate them. So guys, I want you to take your time and watch these videos and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you. Now take a look.
Nigerians, go get arms. Go and look for ammunition. Anyhow you want to get them, I don't care. Go and get ammunition and protect yourself right now. It is fire for fire. Defend yourself against this Islamic jihadist terrorists. Enough is enough. I'm telling you, I'm coming out straight fact now. Defend yourself against this Fulani terrorist. Yesterday, being the 29th of January 2026, Boko Haram attacked Borno State. What I'm telling you is fact. They attacked Borno State. This Biu, along this Biu 7 Geri road. That's where they attacked. Civilians, like youths, they try to repair this their bridge where Boko Haram don't blast. I think last year or so. Now these guys come to work there. Like different laborers now, they just come to repair the bridge. To repair the bridge, where they accessible to make it accessible for their community. Youth just gather. Different people, like Muslim and Christians, not just Christian alone. Muslim and Christians, we are gathered there to repair their bridge. The Boko Haram has blasted though. I think it was last year or so, and some military men too came there to give them cover. I don't know. I don't understand this thing now. Is it that these guys get more ammunition, where they get more intelligence network than our soldiers? I don't understand, because the way these guys are entering our military, entering our CJTF, buying people, these days don't get out of hand. Soldiers were there to protect these guys on that their where they work for that site. All of a sudden, from nowhere, Boko Haram ambush just attack them there. They buy everybody there. More than 20 people. See, more than 20 people. These are their corpse here. More than 20. Now the one where they don't see be this. Now the one where they don't see be this. The corpse where they don't see now be this. So many corpses are still missing, including the military there, including the soldiers where they protect, where they bring, where give these people cover. Like, oh, we there for an side. They do this work. Nothing they saw. They buy them. They buy the CJTF. The north is under attack. Nigeria is under attack. Nigeria is bleeding. The north is bleeding. Nobody will bring it out. The media is quiet. The Nigerian federal government, the body media is quiet. More than 20 people were unalived yesterday. Go do findings. Enough. Nigerians, go get ammunition. I don't care how you want to get them. I don't care. Defend yourself now. Now or never. Because nobody is coming to save you. I repeat, there is no Allah anywhere. There is no God anywhere that is coming to save you. Save yourself. More than 20. All those boys that came there to work there, all of them, we just to work for that, so that their community go dey accessible again. Boko Haram attack them there and they kill everybody, including the military. As in, bro, this is very painful, very, very painful. Protect yourself now, defend yourself now. Federal government of bandit media will keep quiet, they will not say it, but you know the story. Even they hide them, the English Alhaji, they bring them out. I deactive before I leave. You know I can't leave here without telling the federal government of bandit to forsake full time.
So let's open up with the question of how the Americans might be able to help us militarily. It seems that the Nigerian government has announced that there is a joint working group, and the members of the Nigerian part have been released by the presidency. We are waiting the Americans to also release the members of their own joint working group together. So which means that, you know, there seems to be a meeting of minds. It's some meeting point. So the first question then that I'd like to ask is, how specifically can the Americans help us in this fight against terror and banditry? What are the best expectations that we can expect? I'm going to start with Major General Atolabi retired.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very valid question. And we expect the working group to be well acquainted with the capacities that the Americans can give. For example, we have seen American intervention in Iraq. In that kind of circumstance, they took over the administration, appointed an administrator over the whole of Iraq, and then they took over their resources and did all that they need to do before election was held and so on. This is not the practical case that we can compare to that. This is government-to-government arrangement. And then in this case now, we see some level of cooperation. There are some bilateral relations that have been signed before now. There are some other multilateral arrangements that are in place. And then we start talking about what are they bringing to the field or on the ground. The Americans have what they call the Special Operations Command, which is composed of different elements of forces, including the logistic forces also, that will back up any deployment of troops that, and we are talking about components of Marine, and then they have them in different categories. And then you now see a situation where when these guys are coming in, what is the level of air support that is coming with them apart from logistics?
Right.
And then we are talking, when we are, and I say, look, you can start with the highest level of support. We have what we call the B-52 bombers, that is referred to as the Stratofortress. That particular aircraft has the capacity to deliver payloads that can waste resources within a radius of close to 5 kilometers or more. I think maybe we need to cross-check that.
You mean that when it drops,
yes,
can affect about 5 kilometers?
Yes,
Wow.
It can cover a large radius. Let me just put it that way.
Wow.
Now, you are talking about a B-2, the one that was deployed to Iran. Those 6 aircraft that were the stealth aircraft, because they move in such a manner that you can hardly detect that they are on top of you. At the point that they are delivering the payloads, that's the only time you know that there's an aircraft that is, because they have a lot of capacities not to be detected by radars, by surveillance devices. So you now see a situation where, and when you look at the capabilities of some of these aircraft, we are talking about, apart from being stealth, it has the capacity to penetrate into, because I know that some of these guys are on top of high grounds, rocky places, and so on. This type of aircraft has the capacity to deliver some reasonable payloads on those positions and neutralize forces within, even if they have dug-ins into the ground.
I like the sound of that B-2 bomber because, you know, some of the excuses of, for instance, the former immediate past Minister of Defense had actually said that, you know, we can't reach these people where they are. So this B-2 bomber stuff that you spoke about,
B-52, yeah.
Yeah, that might do the job. So I'd like to take it to retired Major General Pat Akem, to also weigh in before I come back to Dr. Okoro. So, General Akem, what's your own take in terms of what is it that we can get from the Americans militarily to fight this war at this time that it seems that we are coming together?
Okay, thank you so much. I wish I were as optimistic as my former student and colleague. To be frank with you, I do not expect the Americans to have boots on the ground, and I also do not expect them to deploy their B-52 bombers. I think that the working group and what Nigeria should be expecting will be cooperation in areas of intelligence sharing. America will also be able to support us with some of the equipment that they are not actively using, and then support with training. In other words, it is one thing to share intelligence and know where the guys are moving, where Boko Haram, ISWAP, and the rest are located. It is another thing to react to take them out. That is the capacity we need. We need to upscale our capacities in diverse ways: reaction time, logistics, training capabilities, intelligence, and all that. So the U.S.-Nigeria working group, I believe that is what they are working on. The B-52 is a strategic asset to the U.S. Armed Forces. They do not use it. They won't use it unless their interests are so deeply entrenched. Otherwise, you won't see it in deployment. It is very optimistic. It is something that would shape the battle space immediately. But I don't think Americans will deploy it. But we expect that intelligence sharing will be available. We also expect that having the CDS, who is a general, he will be able to point to the Americans exactly where the pain is and the cure. So I expect that the reaction time, being able to react to things, of course, they may give us drones that we can use in taking out targets, but I'm not expecting that steel bombers and all that. And America will not put boots on the ground.
Yeah,
you can take that to the bank.
Yeah, General, of course, I'm sure that all of us agree that we don't even want American troops on the ground. But I wanted to ask you, if Nigeria requests, or is it, can't Nigeria make that request for the B-52 bomber, because we know that it can make dramatic changes in the battlefield? I mean, is there anything stopping us from asking for it?
The Americans will not give you that. I can wager my pension on that. see, look at what they stood to gain in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Yeah, having access to uncountable number of minerals and all that, and they've not deployed that. You see, that is a strategic asset that America uses in fighting its wars. This is not, and one bomb costs a lot of millions of dollars. So it's not something America will just deploy like that. They will calculate their interest. What are we going to get from this Nigeria? And those interests will not weigh enough to deploy that. But they can bring a lot to the table. They have other assets that they can easily give us. They have even other fighter jets that they can give us that will help shape the battle space. Apart from that, multiple drones, drone capability of scale high will give us several steps ahead of the enemy. So getting the Americans involved is a good thing. It's very good, but having them deploy that kind of asset is being overly optimistic.
maybe you say that we are actually dreaming. Well, I mean, when the general spoke about it, I thought it was so exciting that that can change the face of this the whole problem. Okay, let's bring it to Dr. Okoro. Do you like to weigh in before we change topic? What kind of support do you think Americans can give us generally? I mean, what should we be asking them, even beyond some of the things?
I think it's formal and informal because of the complexity of the crisis. It's not going to be dealt with by kinetic means alone. The simple act of threatening or withdrawing visa accessibility will be massive here. The second, of course, is economic sanction on those who are known whether directly to be or peripherally involved in fueling this conflict. Those two items, if the U.S. can do that effectively, like I say, including asset forfeiture or asset sanction.
Marco Rubio actually has already announced, yesterday, that the visa bans on some of those people they identify and their families is already
in effect. Exactly, I saw that. But I'm also saying that some of these people that are suspected to be involved, they have properties all over. In the United Arab Emirates is where everybody wants to go, where they have their properties, where they have their investments. So if the economic sanction will include or go to as far as the UAE, that would be fantastically, that's a non-kinetic intervention. That would be very effective. That's on one side. The other side is that everybody's expecting that the U.S. will come here and everything will be okay. The question you have to ask yourself is, what is the quality and standard of our own in-house military and security capability? So it's not just to say, oh, the U.S. will come and everything will be okay. They will come with everything. They will come and work with what we have on the ground. So, and we hear, and we are aware we don't have the manpower, man to man. We don't have equipment. So now I think that when the U.S. comes, the first thing to do is actually even to do an audit. Let them help us with doing an effective audit of what we have. Because even though that will mean some intelligence gathering and all that on their side, it will affect our own area. But the fact that they are here means that they will have access to a lot of information anyway. But we do need to ensure that, however, that the U.S. helps us to be able to come to the level, to be able to confront with the challenges that we have. Because it's not just enough to say Americans come here. Who will they be working with? What kind of resources is on the ground? But then the third one is, like the general have said, is that we will need for them to help us, of course, with training, which is vital, with intelligence, which is vital. But then what bothers me then is, it's not just all this. The peculiarity is a situation where there are sabotage in-house. So because the expectation of Nigerians are so high, in the situation where you have in-house infiltration and sabotage, how will the Americans help us to address that? So for me, rather than looking at just what Americans are going to put on the table, is to say, how are we prepared to receive Americans and what they are going to put on the table?
Okay, excellent point. I will ask the generals just to respond before we move on to the issue of our manpower, the personnel, and the level of equipment in a way, that you guys are comfortable. Are we that deficient in those areas, manpower and equipment? 1 minute, General Atolabi, and then we'll go to General Pat. Okay.
And it is the reason why I started with those high-end equipment. I'm not saying that America will give them to us, but anytime you are going for negotiation, start with the highest.
Okay.
So from the highest, they will be able to scale down and tell you that, no, this is what we can give. I mean, but for us, what we have, maybe it will fit into their plan, but I'm sure they will be coming with some higher capacity to support us.
Okay. All right. General Pat, just chip in before we move to the next topic.
Okay, so the doctor raised a lot of issues, and they're salient issues. They are vital. They are critical. First, you need to fight this thing on all fronts, and the president declaring the state of emergency is a step in the right direction. It will keep us away from reacting instead of being proactive. So when you have a state of emergency, it means you are permitted to do a couple of unorthodox things. Again, you need to upscale the number of your troops. When you are fighting an insurgency, the nature of which you are fighting, you take the population into consideration, and then is 25 troops to 1 terrorist. That is the acceptable minimum number of troops you will have. And so we need, because when you clear areas, you must hold them. In fact, the concept is clear, build and hold. Clear, build, hold. You establish governance and then you hold. So if you're not doing that and you're just clearing them, they will infiltrate into civilian populations and come back again when you've done your work and gone. So we need to do that. And then the economic angle. See, most of the things happening in Zamfara and other states in the northern part of Nigeria are economic related. So you need to take hold of your assets there. The gold mining that is going on, that they shape the environment so that nobody comes and they are mining. You need to do that. And you need to trace those who are involved. Pick them up, lock them up, freeze their assets. If you do that and cut the source of flow of capital that the insurgents are using, then you are heading towards the right direction. So there are multiple things we can do without necessarily using so much kinetic force. We can do a whole range of things. Cut them off from sources of weapons and finance, and that you can do. It is easy to trace assets now. And of course, the doctor made a very valid point. There are somebody said that when the CDS, who is now Minister of Defense, was speaking and talking about enemies, that some of them were listening to him in the hall. And so you need to be able to identify such people and then cut them off from so that it's that constant flow, that stream of flow of resources to insurgents will be taken care of. And then you will know that you are now doing something. But we need plenty of troops. You need to hold areas. You need to hold areas and then move forward and hold. Deny the insurgents of space. They are having ungoverned spaces. That is why they are operating. If you make life uncomfortable to them, taking them out with drones, flying constantly above them, just deny them space to operate, then you are doing the right thing. And then we can begin to say, okay, within this timeline, Nigerians can start going back to the farm, can travel by road, schools can open and all that. There are a couple of things, and Dr. Okoro has been putting his finger on a couple of them. First, the environment. But I think that the president is even addressing that. I've never heard a Nigerian president declare a security emergency within my adult life. I've never heard that. So that is a step in the right direction. It gives you able room to do things that are not normal. So the first question one would ask, is there a way to tackle this? I would say yes. Even for the very life of the administration, there is a way. The administration itself needs a life to go forward. So there is a way. When you are telling governors that they can deploy people in forest gas, you are heading in deploy forest gas in forest, take charge of their forest, you are heading in the right direction. The next level will be exercising a very strong way to deal with people that need to be dealt with. And that is the prescription that even the General Overseer of the Nigerian of the Redeemed Christian Church gave. He was talking about, look, deal with those who sponsor this. So the environment may not be right, but the CDS is coming on board with a lot of things. For instance, he was Commandant Depot, Nigerian Army, where they were churning out soldiers. So when the service chief is talking about, when the chief of minister is talking about training recruits, the CDS will understand. They'll be speaking the same language. He comes on board with institutional knowledge. If a doctor does not know what the problem is, they will not be able to treat it, no matter how much equipped they are, the consultants are. They may not be able to handle it. So he's coming with eyes that have already seen, and then he'll be speaking with service chiefs, same language. When they use concepts, they don't need to define them, he will understand them. And then he knows that the expectations of Nigerians are very high. He will need to do things that otherwise would not have been done. For example, he said yesterday that he was addressing troops indirectly, telling them, if you see somebody armed, do not wait for instructions or orders to take them out. Look, we are in a position where we need to do abnormal things, and that's the whole essence of having an emergency. Without infringing on people's rights, without going the way Sri Lanka went to deal with the Tamil Tigers, without going that route, you can do unorthodox things to take. Not that the thing will be dealt with within the next 6 months, the next 1 year, but at least you'll be able to shape the environment in such a way that kidnapping is reduced, insurgent activities are reduced, Nigerians are traveling by roads, people are quietly having confidence to venture back to farms. This you can do if you have the political power behind you and is telling you, go ahead, do everything, we are backing you up. So that is what the general needs. He needs the president to speak beyond the speaking. And that is why, even when Buhari was president, I said this multiple times, that when you give instructions to service chiefs, Don't give them enclosed doors only. Come and address Nigeria and say the service chiefs have been told to do this. Then the service chiefs will hear you and interpret that, oh, there is a will power, political will. We have been given capital to dispense, so we can dispense it. But if you speak from both sides of the mouth, then the scenario that Okoro has described will play out. Nothing much will change. And Nigerians are expecting things to change. What a state of emergency gives you, it gives you room to do things. And so the president is moving in the right direction. But again, I heard one Boiler, is that his name? If I were the president, I would remove that guy completely. I'll just dispense with him. He is coming, talking and saying Nigeria is not Venezuela. You can't be talking like that when you are saying you are expecting the Americans to cooperate with you, and then you have an underling, somebody who should be helping the president, talking carelessly like that. This is not a time to be pandering. This is not a time for small boys to be playing on the stage. This is strategic thinking level. When the president sends somebody out to talk, there should be a strategic person. Communication is just not throwing words around. It's aimed at shaping a discussion, shaping atmosphere, shaping outcomes. It's not hubris. I don't know why I just got offended reading that.
All right, General. Thank you for your insight. I want to move to the last issue quickly. We have very little time. I think we're just going to share one minute each. So General Pat Akem had indicated it also. The General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God is a very strong voice in this country, without any doubt. A lot of people regard him as the nation's pastor. He spoke about a month ago and said that he had given advice to President Buhari on how to give a deadline, timelines to the service chiefs. I think he said 90 days. And that if they didn't deliver, then he needed to act. He said that President Buhari took the advice, but he didn't go all the way. Now, he has repeated the advice for President Tinubu. Incidentally, before the General Overseer, Pastor Ndume, spoke, President Tinubu himself, when he was swearing in the service chiefs, he said that Nigerians will no longer take excuses. So, in a sense, both the president and Pastor Ndume had the same, they created the same perception. So the question that I want to ask, and I'm going to start with General Atolagbe, is that in military practice, what is the role of timelines, deadlines, KPIs? Is it a realistic expectation from those of us who are civilians to say that, look, you should be able to do this in 90 days?
Okay, thank you. In military parlance, we have what...
Let's make it very short because of our time.
Okay, we have a design we call the estimate process. In the estimate process, you have certain areas that you need to take care of. You talk about commanders, starting from the situation, paint the scenario which is under observation, then the commander's critical information requirements. Then you still have what we call a kind of synchronization matrix. In this particular area, all the various stages of the operation are stated there along timelines. So, and then you have what we call operational objectives and strategic objectives. You also have operational end state and strategic end state. Everything is along timelines. So you now see a situation where you are giving, based on the estimate that you have done, you have allocated time that by this so time, if you are moving to clear from Lagos to Abuja, you should arrive at Ilorin at so time. And then you should leave Ilorin and be in Jeba or be in Zuba by so date. And you should be able to cross Abuja and clear the whole place by so date and time. This is how the system runs. But we have seen a situation where this operation has been going on for close to 15 years. If we are to go by the time the Boko Haram issue started in 2010, you understand? So we now see a situation where, what are they going to do that will be different? And the only way things can be done differently is to re-engineer the system. There has to be a system re-engineering in such a manner that if you look at the equipment that they are using today, are there areas they need to improve? Are there more men on the ground? What about the level of intelligence that they have? Are they adequate? Are they providing enough information? You understand? And then what level of tech are you actually adding to this operation environment so that I mean, if somebody is going on a patrol, for instance, there could be drones. As this is just simple thing that the UN is doing. You say a patrol out, drones are flying over the patrol so that they can warn either about ambushes that are either lying in wait. You understand? So, and if the UN can go, that is supposed to be either doing a peace enforcement or peacekeeping, how about a situation of war? You understand? So there are a lot of other areas which I think other guests will want to talk about, but then those are the considerations when it comes to military planning.
Thank you. Thank you so much. General Parks.
Okay, so, Major General Tolawe gave you the correct information with regard to this. Well, from the Nigerians' perspective, they'll be expecting that, they'll begin to see some green shoots in about 3 months, that they will begin, the environment will be getting shaped in such a way that they can. You see, in Nigerian sea air force, they will recognize it. In Nigerian sea air force, they would like to see outcomes of operations. They would like to see areas being cleared. And Nigerians would like to see within 3 months a couple of things happening. That basically, if a route that was notorious for kidnapping, that kidnappings are no longer happening there, that farms that could not be accessed are being accessed. Those will be the metrics that will be used to gauge whether this thing is working. So yes, Nigerians are expecting, and I think that we can see green shoots in 3 months. We're not saying that the conflict should end in 3 months. I don't think that the GO was saying the thing should end completely in 3 months. If Nigerians start seeing deliverables are being executed and delivered, they will know. Even the president will know that something is happening. So basically, that is it. Basically, you are not expecting the thing to end suddenly, but at least Nigerians should start seeing results. And if they see results, they will cheer the service chiefs and hear them and give them the impetus to keep forging ahead. So basically, that's what I think will happen.
Last word to Dr. Okoro as we conclude.
I was going to say that it's good to set KPIs, like the president says that they are supposed to go and do X, Y, Z. But you ask yourself the complement of the resources that they require to achieve that objective. Is it available? Has it been provided? Because you're saying, go and do these vehicles that are required, like he has said, like General says, is it available? Because what we have seen is a situation where you ask a platoon, for instance, maybe 15, 14, 10 men to guide a place, and the bandits are coming with 200 men, right? So that's the kind of situation I'm talking about, where you have a gap in the availability of those critical assets that is required. And I think that is what we should also, in giving targets, in giving KPIs, we must also ensure that what the men need to deliver on their objective are provided.
Thank you so much for this very exciting conversation. I wish we had more time, but of course, this is a conversation that continues. Thank you so much, Major General Pat Akem-Vingi, retired Major General Anthony Atolagbe, and Dr. David Okoro. Thank you so much for coming to Inside Sources.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right. And there you have it. We're going to have second segment where we're going to be talking about what happened in the U.S. on Monday and how Nigerians are working with the State Department to compile the list of those to be sanctioned and those whose assets to be freezed. Inside Sources will be right back. Welcome back to Inside Sources. As we get the show today on the road, we're going to have a follow-up conversation with Nigerians based in the United States who participated actively in the rally that took place in front of the U.S. Congress on Monday. It is interesting that the rally took place on Monday and the State Department officials received leaders of the rally on Monday. On Tuesday, there was a congressional hearing on the matter of Nigeria led by people like Congressman Riley Moore and co. And then on Wednesday, Mr. Mark Rubio actually announced that visa bans were now being issued against Nigerians who are supporting and financing terrorism and killings. And he also said that their families will also be affected. So a lot of things is happening in America. So I'd like to welcome on this segment Honorable Stephen Osemwegwe, who is the National Director of the Save Nigeria Group in the U.S., one of the leaders of the rally. Honorable Stephen, good to see you again on Inside Sources.
Thank you very much, Laolu. It's a pleasure to be here. I can tell you the energy is rife. We are very glad that the Secretary of State has taken a decisive action, but that is only the first step.
Okay.
I am still in Washington and the conversation continues.
Okay, welcome. We're going to get into it. And also today, for the first time, I'd like to welcome the overseer of Excellent Church of Christ, who is also a retired banking executive and currently the executive chairman of Prudential Trust Group. I'd like to welcome Pastor Nnamdi Christopher Amana. You are welcome, Pastor Anama.
My pleasure, Laolu. I mean, I'm so glad to be with you. And just to also thank you for the good work you're doing for this country and, you know, humanity in general.
Thank you.
I can assure you that your labor will not be in vain.
Amen. Thank you so much. So let's start with Honorable Stevie. Can you give us just a brief of the meeting that you had with State Department officials after the rally that some of you led on Monday at the U.S. Congress?
Thank you very much, Laolu, and for having me. So on Monday, the topic of Nigerian Christian genocide, which was once inside the offices of Congress, came out to Washington, D.C. as a natural information, because a lot of persons that had not followed the news, particularly in the American Washington, D.C. area, they saw Nigerians come out in their numbers, even though we just had a major snowstorm here in America where a lot of weather was not on our friendly. But God was on our side. The rain that was supposed to fall on Monday, Laolu, was moved to Tuesday. And we had a very impressive rally, even though it was very cold. In total, about 350 persons turned up for our rally.
Oh, wow. On
a Monday morning, on a work day. That is unheard of, because some of the Congress members, when they were passing us, they were, oh, these people must be serious. For you to turn up on a Monday morning in Washington, D.C. in America.
In the cold.
And we said, yes, the issue is very serious. That is why we wanted to come on a Monday. It was deliberate. People had to take time from work. We have Nigerians coming from Toronto, California, Texas, everywhere. I flew in from Minnesota and I've been in D.C. Our keynote speaker, Michael Arnold, the former mayor of Blanco, Texas, was here from Texas. And he's been here with me. He's still here in Washington, D.C. And one of the good news is that while we were in Capitol Hill trying to press our issue to Congress to act on those bills I mentioned last time, the State Department, which is in another location, invited us to say, please, when you finish your rally, we would like to sit with you. Because you guys did not come to State Department to protest our rally. We want to hear from you. And that was a blessing, because God is on our side. Speed is in our sail. We believe that justice is coming to those who have been crying, particularly the IDPs, the estimated 11 million of them. So we went to the State Department Office of International Religious Freedom, led by the Honorable Isaac Six and his team. And Laolu, this was unusual because they sat down with us for almost 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
They heard directly from our brother, Frank Otor, who flew into D.C. He is from Yalewata. He lost 38 members of his own family. He lost 270-something members of his own village. The priest that prayed for him and his wife was killed. The altar boy, his childhood friends were killed. So he gave those accounts to the Office of International Religious Freedom. Our brother from Pennsylvania, who is also has escaped 4 times Boko Haram, killing his village members and his church. He's a pastor. His name is Pastor Reverend Dr. John Aruna. He told his story. And it came to an emotion where even the State Department officials were almost brought to tears, because he described where for 4 times he had almost been killed. And at the same time, Michael Arnold, who has visited Nigeria almost 16 times, shared the story which he has documented in the IDPs. And his argument is that this genocide has weaknesses and they are the internally displaced. And our conversation was that the Nigerian government was not innocent in this fight, because one of the things he mentioned in that meeting was that he had asked the Nigerian government, please, can you recognize the IDPs outside Abuja in order to get funding and materials to these IDPs? He said the government officials he met with said those are destitute, those are poor people, forget about them.
He said he cannot imagine the fact that because people are poor in Nigeria, because Nigerian citizens do not have the power, our government do not even recognize those who are coming from Borno, from the Middle Belt, outside Abuja, close to the seat of power. Talk about the fact that we got calls from IDPs, even in Edo State where I'm from. The children were energetic. Over 3,000 of them joined our program live, the rally live. They were praying for us while we were in Washington. Even though it was cold, our conversations was key. One of the things we mentioned to the State Department officials was, look, we want biting sanctions on those who sponsor this genocide. We believe that the radical Islamic jihadists, ISWAP, Ansaru, you know their name, Boko Haram, of course, the big one that had been designated 13 years ago or 12 years ago or so. We said they have sponsors. One of the folks that talked about in the meeting, John Aruna and those like Otor, he said the witnesses claimed that Fulani militias were the ones that were carrying out this killing like in Yalewata. And there was a military checkpoint 5 minutes from the village. They called before the attack started. The military did not intervene. After the attack, the military waited until people were dead. Then they came and, as though they are journalists. Even though a base was by... So this conversation has been expressed to the State Department. And I believe that Secretary Rubio, who started taking action yesterday to sanction their visas, is only the first step. Because we believe that the militias on the ground have well-organized, well-funded structure because they go about with weapons. One of the things, Laolu, that Riley Moore, the point man in Congress that Trump appointed on this issue, he asked was that why does the Nigerian government not disarm the Fulani militia? He said he knows from his research that Nigerians do not have Second Amendment right. Here in America, I have the right to bear arms according to the Second Amendment. But in Nigeria, you're not allowed to bear even so much as a pistol. But he said, how come the Fulani militia have AK-47, RPGs, and they pass through military checkpoints? How come they are armed and the Christians that are being genocided are unarmed? Can you not disarm them? And they could not answer that question. And I'm asking that question today. Why does the government of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu not disarm the Fulani militia? Why do they have the right to bear arms and the ordinary Nigerians do not bear arms? And some of the long-term solutions I have suggested in my speech at the rally was that Nigeria should consider a constitutional amendment and review. I believe that the 1999 Constitution has outlived its usefulness. We need to rethink how our country moves forward because everybody should have a right to religious freedom.
Okay.
I know Muslims are very passionate about. Okay, we'll come to it later.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to tell you. Okay, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I mean, because, I want us to make it a conversation, so that you don't say everything all at once, So,
okay.
So I think, just hold your thought and let's go to Pastor Nnamdi Anama, who I understand was also at the rally on Monday. Pastor Nnamdi, I'd like to ask you, what's your own take, about some of these recent developments, the intervention of the Americans, who clearly are unrelenting, and how do you think that has affected, the whole scenario and the reaction of our own leaders here at home?
Well, thanks, Laulu. I think that if anybody observes, developments in Nigeria, I mean, you see that it's like the government just woke up in the last 1 month. You can trace it, to the sanctions. But unfortunately, these sanctions didn't just come now. They were actually also levied, over 5 years ago and all of that. So it tells you the kind of depth or the persistence of the kind of infractions that we're talking about. Now, let me just start also from the foundation, spiritual foundation, so that we can have some context. Because a lot of people, like the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. You see, when when blood is spilled, like you see in Genesis 4 from verses 8 to 10, okay, you are actually touching God, okay? And in Genesis 9 verse 6, it tells you that anybody who kills will die by the sword. Anybody who are not of right. So the principle is there. He asked, Abel, the blood of your brother is crying against me. That is what is happening. Okay? The people who are sending young people to go and kill people, they don't understand what those consequences are and all of that. Okay? So that's if you actually understand what is happening now, what is happening is beyond Trump, beyond any other person. God is raging and moving in his own way. So all these things you see happening at the same, you will even see more. It is beyond any other person. If I let me even context it to where the situation where we are actually at this place of Exodus 3 verse 8. I have heard the cry of my people, and I have come to deliver them. Okay? I have come to deliver them. That is the point where we are now. So you cannot stop. Nobody can really stop, the move of God. Okay? In John 10:10, it says, the thief comes but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But I have come to give it to you to, more abundantly. And the people also who have, if you allow me, who have actually been involved in this thing, cannot see, how these things all interrelate. Like I was telling you, if you spend 4.9 trillion on security, this is just direct cut on the budget, not to talk about the ones that are emergencies and all of that. All those monies, go and, the last 15 years you've been spending. You had the situation, for instance, where Buhari went, and then the 1 billion naira is taken from this account and all of that. All of those monies will have been used differently.
Let's quickly take a look at some of the reactions from Nigerians. Like Ndume said, we must not miss the opportunity. Senator Ndume says Nigeria must cease U.S. support to crush terrorists. And then let's see how Nigerians have reacted to this headline. There's another headline here: Kaduna abduction terrorist charges U.S. to use all leverage to end alleged Christian genocide. I think this is what we want to see. This is really what we want to see. Now, let me take you through some of the reaction coming from Ndume's statement. This person here say these fools do not know what they are dealing with. Mark this and thank me for it when it comes to fruition. Expect Boko Haram to be the leaders of tomorrow in Nigeria, just as Syria, by calling the most nefarious, hegmatic, Machiavellian Nigeria, is a now vassal state for arms. This person say America don't end terrorism, they fuel it. I'm a Christian, but I support Arab help. They used Fulani Caliphate to conquer the Hausa, and UK supported it. So spare me the Guinea man trash talk. Go and read history. This person say, how is it possible if a government paid a humongous $9 million US dollar to lobbies for the denial of insecurity in Nigeria? The government should resign. What about our $9 million US dollar? Government is in bed with the terrorists. Sponsors of terrorists now speaking Trump is great. If America cares about Christians, separate the East and North into two. Good talk, at least for once. Opportunity that has been missed already. Anyway, people are reacting that opportunity, that Nigeria may have missed the opportunity of having Trump to have crushed these terrorists. And honestly, I think it's true. Nigerians have really missed that opportunity because, you see, the Northerners came out saying they don't want. And I believe that maybe that's why Trump just withdrew. This man said, wow, they truly... that is a truly horrifying story, heartbreaking, absolutely horrific. Let's hope for swift justice and safety. This person is talking about gunmen attack in a Bonny community, behead several, abduct many, burn homes. Hey God, what is happening? Gentle, the Yahoo agent of the Department of State Security, have struck. APC must be kicked out of our label. It's an abomination. We Furumba and Udele of Imo State have the worst security issues in the region, and these ones, and there is one more denominator, APC. I mean, so guys, this is what is happening currently in the south. Is these terror guys went to Ebonyi State and struck there. And this person, in addition, this event happened in the hometown of Ebonyi State APC chairman Stanley Okoli Emera. The land dispute has existed long ago with killings and burning of houses. Asked the chairman of Afipo South and Afipo North local government, Prince Chima Ekuma Kama and Uchenna Ibiam. The only solution of this government-sponsored terrorism is a total dissolution of the damnable zoological republic. Ndibo economy are mute. The Fulanis are killing people in Enugu and Ebonyi, and Igbo delusional intellectuals are shamelessly mute. So these are reactions as regards to this attack that happened in Ebonyi State. Although I've come across some tweets here, some reactions here that shows that it was as a result of land dispute. So if it's land dispute, then it's not a terrorist attack. Except it's those Fulani terrorists who arraying their cows around those areas that were used to carry out these attacks. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Naija Voice TV. Stay tuned for latest updates.